There are 5 major video standards in the world, 2 of which we care about a lot. The other 3 I think you need to understand. Those 5 are NTSC, NTSC-J, PAL, PAL-M, and CCAM. Let's start by taking a look at NTSC. The one that we know the best here in America is NTSC. Because it began as an analog format, its size is measured in horizontal scan lines, and there are 525 scan lines to a frame of NTSC video. NTSC displays at 30 frames a second. And the countries that use NTSC are North and Central America, the Philippines, South Korea, and Taiwan. A version of NTSC called NTSC-J is used in Japan. It is the same as NTSC except the black setting goes to 0 versus 7.5 IRE. That is to say, NTSC-J has a darker black than does NTSC by itself. The next major format is PAL. PAL has higher resolution. It has 625 scan lines, but it only runs at 25 frames a second. PAL is seen principally through Europe, Scandinavia, parts of Asia, the Pacific, and South Africa. A version of PAL called PAL-M is just used in Brazil. It uses the NTSC size of 525 scan lines, but the PAL color palette, and PAL-M, instead of running at 25 frames a second, runs at 30. It's like NTSC video with PAL colors. The wild card in all of this is CCAM. CCAM is used in France, Russia, the Middle East, and North Africa. Is something like PAL in that it's 625 scan lines and 25 frames a second, but it uses a different color palette and displays colors differently. Effectively, we can consider each of these 5 formats to be incompatible with the other. So if you're shooting an NTSC video, the NTSC video plays on NTSC TV sets but won't play on PAL TV sets. PAL is a sharper image because there's more detail there. However, because it runs at only 25 frames a second, it tends to flicker. NTSC, because it runs at 30 frames a second, has less flicker, but because the actual image size is smaller, it doesn't have the same resolution. Which video should you choose to use? Depends upon where your video is going to be seen. If you're shooting a video for North America, it must be NTSC. If you're shooting a video for Europe, it must be PAL, because those are the formats that can be played by sets in America, NTSC, or sets in Europe, that's PAL. A little later, we'll get into specific image sizes as we convert these analog formats, NTSC at 525 scan lines and PAL at 625 scan lines. As we convert those from an analog format to a digital format, then we'll start to talk about pixels. That's coming up. But first, I want to talk about the differences between progressive and interlaced video.